5 years have passed since mankind found out about the presence of godlike exceptional beasts known as Titans. Emma is a paleobiologist who works for the organization known as Monarch to study the Titans and develop her invention, Orca, which is a sonar that can send out frequencies that only Titans can hear. During the last monster attack, she lost her son, and her grief destroyed her marriage. As a result, she is now solely responsible for Madison, her daughter. The excavation site in China where they have been living starts to shake. Madison and Emma hurry to the laboratory to marvel at the birth of Mothra, a titan resembling a moth. To keep her from being caught, the scientists set up a containment field. But the system starts failing, probably because someone hacked into it. The watchmen alarm at seeing the beast breaking free and fire at Mothra, who quickly panic and starts going after everybody in her way. Emma takes a chance and goes into the enclosure to use Orca. Within a few seconds, Mothra is calmed down by the sonar frequency. Emma runs after her mother and gets a chance to gently stroke Mothra's face. Emma and Madison are the only members of the team who survive when an eco-terrorist group led by former Colonel Jonah break into the facility and start killing everyone. In the meantime, Monarch's top researcher, Dr. Sarizawa, and his assistants are attending a Senate hearing to try to convince the world leaders that the Titans are essential to the maintenance of Earth's ecosphere and that some of them are capable of peacefully coexisting with humans. However, the majority of leaders are still determined to eliminate the Titans. The three of them leave without having finished their arguments when Sarizawa receives a message informing him of the incident in China. Moments after, they're meeting with Emma's ex-husband to request his assistance. When Mark learns that Jonah kidnapped Emma and Madison and that he will use Orca, which Mark helped develop, for evil purposes, he accepts his resignation from Monarch. Mark left the organization after they failed to protect his son during the most recent attack. Mark is taken by the group to their underwater base, where Godzilla, the king of the Titans, is studied and monitored. They find out that Mothra was able to get away from Jonah's men and has camped out far away from the site under a waterfall. Mark points out that Jonah's information suggests that he wants to capture Mothra, but it's just a ruse. They should kill the monsters first because now that they have Orca, they can unleash all of them, but Sarizawa continues to reject. In the meantime, Emma and Madison are taken to another Monarch base in Antarctica, where Jonah's men kill every one of the workers to get to the Titan called Monster Zero, who is frozen in ice. Jonah tells his men to start drilling into the ice and using explosives to fill the hole. While Emma returns Orca prepared once again to the submerged base, the gathering starts feeling the entire design shaking, which hasn't occurred since the last assault. Mark tells the group to put down their weapons because it will only make matters worse when they discover that their drones are being destroyed and that a Titan is getting closer. They open the safeguards to demonstrate they aren't a danger, and everybody is shocked to see Godzilla right external their window. After giving the building a big shake, the Titan, who is putting on a light show to scare people, leaves. Mark investigates the Titan's territorial routes and determines that Godzilla is traveling to Antarctica because he believes Godzilla is feeling threatened. While they tell Mark that Ghidorah was a rival alpha to Godzilla and they fought for dominance over the other Titans, the team sets off. At the point when they come to the frozen base, the Monarch soldiers rapidly make it inside, just to be trapped by Jonah's men. A firefight promptly follows, and when Mark sees his family on the video feed, he chooses to join the fight as well. Mark meets with his family and asks them to come with him after a Monarch sniper kills the man with the detonator, and it falls to the ground. However, Emma catches him off guard by picking up the detonator and using the explosives to start the structure falling apart right away. The humans flee as Ghidorah begins to shake inside the ice, and Emma and Jonah board a jet to regain access to Orca. While the base sinks into the frozen ground, Emma initiates the sonar lastly awakens Ghidorah, who promptly starts going after every one individuals encompassing him. The soldiers try to respond with weapons, but Ghidorah just breathes a beam of bioelectricity at them and the bullets do nothing. The Monarch team tries to escape in their jet, but Ghidorah's electric attack has rendered all electronic equipment inoperable, leaving them stranded on the ground and unable to assist her father. Madison gets Ghidorah's attention by taking Emma's Orca and adjusting the frequency. Emma takes the Orca back and disables it when the Titan turns to them. So presently Ghidorah returns to go after the Monarch vehicle. The team thinks they can't win after a few hits, but Godzilla suddenly breaks out of the ice and starts fighting Ghidorah. Godzilla appears to have the upper hand at first, launching an electric beam of his own, but Ghidorah quickly triumphs and sends Godzilla plunging into the explosion's crater. Then Ghidorah assaults Monarch once more and eats Sarizawa's collaborator. However, at that point, the Monarch jet shows up and assaults the Titan with rockets. Mark is killed when a stray missile explodes near him, and Ghidorah escapes before Godzilla can respond. When Mark feels better later, he gets together with the others and looks over the information to find out that Jonah's next target is a base in Mexico. Abruptly, they're reached by Emma, who uncovers she had been working with Jonah from the beginning since she needs to free every one of the Titans to re-establish harmony to the world. The planet is being damaged and will soon be destroyed by humans. However, research has shown that the regions that the Tians went after last time are recovering, meaning the beasts can go about as antibodies for the planet. The Monarch group calls her out on the grounds that her arrangement will cause a large number of passings all over the planet. Yet Emma simply hangs up on them. After Monarch learns that Jonah's team has disabled the containment system, they begin to evacuate the town close to the Mexican base. In the meantime, Jonah requests that Emma use Orca to stir the Titan in Mexico remotely in the town. Madison also didn't like the plan, so this time she tries to stop her. Emma disregards her and actuates the sonar in any case, conveying the messages through the speakers around. Titan Rodden emerges from a volcano that immediately bursts into flames shortly after the Mexican base explodes. In a state of panic, the town flees, and Monarch sends their jets to catch Rodden's attention. However, the Titan responds by attacking the jets one at a time while hovering over the town and causing havoc everywhere. Rodden's fury causes each pilot to pass away, and Ghidorah appears just as the missile is about to hit the aircraft. After a bloody duel in the sky, Ghidorah defeats Rodden and sends it to the bottom of the ocean after exchanging a few blows. In the meantime, the stream's holder entryways get hammed, so Mark risks getting closer to open it manually and rescue one of their jets, which loses control in the way and crashes right into the hangar. Admiral Stenz calls the group at that exact moment, and tells them to fly away because the army has launched the oxygen destroyer to try to kill the Titans despite Sarizawa's opposition. Ghidorah turns his attention to the jet now that Rodden is gone, but Godzilla shows up and pushes Ghidorah into the water before it can attack. Godzilla gains the upper hand and cuts off one of the Titans' heads now that Ghidorah is unable to fly. The oxygen destroyer launches a sudden attack, decimating all marine life within a 2-mile radius. Godzilla's vitals flatline, and the Monarch expects to be he's dead. However, Ghidorah survives the ocean completely unscathed. Then he arrives on the fountain of liquid magma and recovers his missing head. With Godzilla out of the picture, Ghidorah plays the job of the Supreme Alpha Titan and expresses a penetrating scream that rises and shines every one of the torpid Titans from one side of the planet to the other. Every location is destroyed and in chaos, and natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis are sparked as a result. Mothra's cocoon begins to glow at the waterfall, and she soon appears in a formidable new form with stunning wings. Emma regrets her plan when she sees all the destruction it caused. Especially when Madison calls her a monster, and points out that this is not what her brother would have wanted. The Monarch team looks at Ghidorah's strange traits, and after looking into some old myths, they find out that Ghidorah is actually an alien who is an invasive species rather than a protector of nature. It's possible that Ghidorah intended to xenoform the planet to suit his own preferences by destroying it. The team then meets with Stenz and his army to explain that stopping Ghidorah will also stop all the other monsters, but that Godzilla alone is stronger than any Titan. In the meantime, Emma has made the same decisions and told Jonah that she preferred cohabitation to extinction. She wants to disrupt Ghidorah's control over the Titans by using Orca and amplifying it through a stadium. But Jonah says no because he thinks the monsters own the world. Madison decides to handle the situation on her own after hearing the entire conversation through her comms. She steals Orca and travels to Boston, where the military is already evacuating the city from the Monarch base. Mark plans to leave on his own to look for his daughter. Yet, at that point, a brilliant light shows up overhead. Mothra is the one who turns out to be Godzilla's queen. She continues to sing a song in an effort to get in touch with Godzilla, who is in fact alive and recovering underwater. Mark informs them that Mothra will require assistance in bringing him back to life, so they send out a submarine to follow her. However, they become entangled in a vortex and are sucked into the Hollow Earth tunnels. They convey a lot of robots and find the old remnants of a progress whose pictographs demonstrate that they calmly coincided with Godzilla and different Titans centuries prior. Godzilla is found resting in his sanctuary, which comprises of a volcanic chamber that has an air pocket, taking care of him energy to re-energize him. They must detonate a nuclear device to speed up this process, which could take years. Sadly, the submarine's weapon framework is disconnected, meaning somebody should physically put and explode the warhead close to Godzilla. Sarizawa volunteers to make it happen and gives Imprint his journal before he says his last farewells to his group. While Ghidorah is attempting to completely destroy Washington, D.C., all 4 branches of the military set out to confront him, with the assistance of a Rodden returning. Madison enters the stadium's press box at that point and uses the Orca to transmit the frequency through the speakers. This forces all Titans, with the exception of Ghidorah, to stop their rampage and become docile. However, this also draws them all to her location in the ocean. Before approaching Godzilla, Sarizawa boards a miniature submarine and enters the air pocket, where he drops the warhead. The Titan wakes up however doesn't assault, and Sarizawa contacts his face to express farewell to his close buddy. After that, the warhead explodes, destroying the entire city that was submerged, killing Sarawaza, and returning the submarine to the surface. Seconds after the fact, Godzilla rises out of the sea, totally mended, and shoots out an impact, prepared to battle for his place as the Titan's alpha. Before departing to locate Ghidorah, he takes a moment to evaluate the team and selects their allies. Mark realizes as a result that Emma created the Orca signal by combining the bioacoustics of Godzilla and humans to make the monsters believe humans are also predators. They make the decision to join the fight at Jonah's base and follow Godzilla. Emma tries to leave as well to find Madison, and when the soldiers try to stop her, she shoots Jonah with her gun. Jonah decides to let her go since the plan is already working out well. When Ghidorah arrives in Boston, the entire city is swept away by a hurricane. The Titan starts going after the arena with energy bars and hits of his paws, so Madison gets Orca and starts going through the hallways, avoiding the pillars and the flotsam and jetsam until she makes it outside. Before turning to Madison, Ghidorah crushes Orca with his paw after she throws it away, but Godzilla shows up and knocks Ghidorah to the ground before he can kill her. The military provides cover fire to distract Ghidorah and make him more vulnerable during a new battle between the two beasts. The team discovers that the warhead's radiation overcharged Godzilla after the clash of the Titans activates something in the sensors. He gains strength as a result, but within 12 minutes, he will overload, resulting in a thermonuclear explosion. They get off the plane quickly and head out in search of Madison, only to find the Orca first. Ghidorah figures out how to push Godzilla to the ground, yet Godzilla fights back with an energy shaft, and at that point Mothra appears and utilizes her silk to stick Ghidorah's heads to the side of a pinnacle. This gives Godzilla the opportunity to take on Ghidorah, but Rodan shows up to fight Mothra too, lighting the city on fire with its flame breath. Emma also arrives and picks up Mark and the soldiers in a jeep as they look for Madison, who is running in fear to hide in her old family home, which is right under the beasts' falling bodies, while the beasts fight around them. After discovering the power grid and absorbing the electricity, Ghidorah is able to launch lightning arcs from his wings that strike Godzilla, significantly weakening him, and compel the military jets to retreat. Rodan corners Mothra against the structure and Mothra takes the risk to utilize her stinger to wound Rodan, harming. Unfortunately it tumbles to the ground and can't get up. Mark and Emma arrive at their previous residence to find it in ruins, which breaks their hearts. Madison was found unconscious in a bathtub that had protected her from the falling debris as they began their desperate search through the debris. Madison wakes up quickly and sees her family again as they watch Ghidorah take a weak Godzilla high in the sky and then release him, sending Godzilla plummeting thousands of feet to the ground. Ghidorah readies a bar to kill Godzilla, yet at that point, Mothra puts herself among Godzilla and the assault, which immediately disintegrates her. Mothra's remains pour down on Godzilla, moving her energy to both mend him and block the overburden. While Ghidorah raises him, preparing for the final blow, Godzilla roars in grief for his companion. Notwithstanding, Imprint and Emma figure out how to enact Orca once more, and the recurrence definitely stands out, making him drop Godzilla and pursue them, all things considered. The Monarch jet comes to get the family, yet Emma chooses to remain behind with the Orca to keep Ghidorah's consideration on her as opposed to pursuing the group. Madison cries as Emma drives off in the Orca, leading Ghidorah through the city's rubble until the Titan fires his energy beams on the vehicle. Emma rolls out of the car, but when Ghidorah approaches, she does not feel threatened. Godzilla appears red due to the combination of radiation and Mothra's ashes at that moment. He is immune to Ghidorah's beams and can fire thermonuclear blasts that destroy Emma's body and two of Ghidorah's heads as well as his wings and wings. Godzilla steps on Ghidorah's chest when he falls, causing a massive explosion that destroys the entire city. Godzilla returns to his normal appearance after the dust has settled, this time with Ghidorah's final head in his mouth. Godzilla defeats the head with a beam after much struggle, earning him the title of Alpha. Abruptly, the wide range of various Titans appear and stoop for Godzilla, tolerating him as their chief. The Titans act benevolently under Godzilla's reign and return to their nest to assist in the rebuilding of the world's ecosystems, despite Rodan's attempts to appear tough, which Godzilla subdues with a single glance. Jonah and his men, on the other hand, enter a secret warehouse on the island of Isla de Mara, where fishermen discovered Ghidorah's remaining severed head. Jonah announces that he and his men ought to take it. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. I appreciate your viewing.